Hello and welcome to Bowtie Life. I'm Bowtie David, without a bow tie. It's a little chilly out here this morning. It's about 55, 56 degrees Fahrenheit, about 13 degrees Celsius out here. So it's just a little chilly, enough for a sweatshirt. But I've been working on getting some cleanup done, long awaited, long overdue, and in the pollinator beds, and came across some of my amaryllis here and discovered a really neat thing under here, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. First things though, be sure to subscribe if you like this video. We are trying to grow a community here and would love to have you along. This is really my own personal log of things happening in the garden, and it's videos that I go back and watch that remind me of things. My ADD brain doesn't remember things all the time, and so I like doing these videos to keep reminding myself. But anyway, I am also learning. I'm still learning. We're about to end year 4 of what I am calling successful gardening. I've gardened in the past, never successfully, and have done a lot of time researching and so forth. But anyway, so let me just take you around, show you what's been going on here and what I've got going on right here that I thought was interesting. I needed a record of this, and which is what this video is. So you're welcome to join along. Here we go. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So if you follow along with our garden tours, you'll know that recently I showed this just a couple of weeks ago, this front pollinator patch, and it looked horrendous, covered with weeds. The back pollinator patch was no different, which is where we're going to go in just a minute. But here we are, and I've done a lot of cleanup. I've done a lot of work in here. Got a lot of cans of debris from these two pollinator beds that are about to be taken off by our waste management people in the green bins. But anyway, we're getting things taken care of for the fall. I haven't gotten any new compost yet, but that's coming. So up here in the shadow of one of our snowmen cutouts for Christmas, we have these rain lilies in here, and these were bulbs that were given to me by Jana and Todd. Very happy to have these. That her father grew these for many years. They're a bulb down here. You can see there's a bulb right there. And I was going along doing some cleanup, and as I was cleaning this first one out, pieces started breaking off, and I thought, oh, these things are ready to pop off. And so there's actually bulbs down inside here, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's time to start propagating these things into different areas. So I got back here to the back pollinator bed, and you can see that it was a disaster. It was about a foot deep in grass and weeds. I've done some cleanup here. It's looking a whole lot better. And I got down to this amaryllis, and this thing here, look at the bulb under here. This is just exciting because it's a massive, massive, massive plant. Yeah, I'm a little excited about this. But anyway, so I'm just in here cleaning up grasses, and I'm able to pull these up from the roots because, well, first off, this soil is rather fluffy. It's good draining. Underneath the compost that's on top here, there's originally about 6-8 inches of compost on here. There's about 100 feet of sand because we live in Destin, Florida, and there's very good drainage underneath here. So these bulbs are extremely healthy as far as I can tell. I don't know much about these, but I'm keeping a record of what I'm doing here because I want to know. In fact, I've got another one of these over, whoops, see if I can get this tripod turned over here. Got another one over there that I'm not going to touch this year. I'm going to experiment with this one. I've got these in 4 different places, 2 places in this particular bed, and then in 2 other beds. But I want to focus on getting this experimental stuff done with the bulb down here. And this is a bulb, an Amaryllis bulb. There's debris in here, and what I want to do, first off, the anatomy. We have our main bulb, our original bulb, which is huge. We also have these offset bulbs, these pups, these additional bulbs, which is a way to propagate this Amaryllis. And this thing here is huge. I have a feeling there's probably another good sized one underneath here where this stalk is, and then there's another couple stalks over back here on this side that you really can't see from your angle. Well, at least one more stalk over here. But I want to dig all this up. We're going to take a look at it, and then I'm going to just spread these out a little bit and replant them back in the ground. I did a little research, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with this thing. There's some good information out there. We do live in a relatively warm climate. I saw people from New Jersey. I saw people from Oregon, various different places, and what they were doing, they were planting these things indoors. Well, here I am. I'm planting this thing outdoors. And so I want to pull this thing up, and I really want to loosen the soil around. I don't want to damage the bulb. The bulb is very important here. We don't want to touch that bulb. We can damage some of the roots. They will grow back. I'm presuming. According to my research, that was some of the stuff I was finding out. Now, I do have other roots in here too, which I'm kind of digging around. But I want to try to get this thing up with as little damage as possible to anything, any of it. And here we go. We can now see what we have. And we have, sure enough, look at there. There's bulbs all the way around here. This thing is shooting out bulbs everywhere. In fact, there's another one up underneath here. Look at that, look at that, look at that. So you can see here, this is how they connect to each other, to the mother bulb, which is the big one down here. But it has this kind of taproot underneath here. And if I gently pull this apart, you see it almost, oh, that's not a taproot. That's more bulbs coming off that. This thing is ready to make more bulbs. Okay, I'm learning here, folks. But look, see, I kept it all together. We typically see freezing temperatures most years. In the 6 years we've lived here, we've only had 1 year. We've had 1 year that didn't have any freezing temperatures. But so yeah, I'm just okay. So that kind of broke loose. But look at this. This thing has more bulbs, and I'm going to leave these things intact because I have a feeling those are going to be this big in a year or two. Now, so I planted these a year and a half ago, March 22nd. There's actually a tag under here somewhere. I saw, there it is. March 20th of 2022. So that's when this one bulb went in, and it's created 1, 2, and I'm just gently pulling these off again, preserving as many of the roots as possible. Just gently pulling here. Oh, that one didn't break much, but you can see they still have a lot of roots on them. And so ultimately, I come down to a nice collection of bulbs. And I'm going to put these back. They're actually all firm, very firm. That's got a soft spot over here, but they're all very firm. They feel good, and I'm going to separate them by a couple of feet, a foot or two, and plant them in this whole area now. So just to give myself an idea of how big an area I am going to fill with these Amaryllis, I've got a yardstick here at the bottom of the screen, which is, yard is a little bit less than a meter, roughly a meter, but I have these 5 bulbs, and I'm going to spread them out in this area here, and I am going to keep the big bulb in the middle. Clear this area out a little bit so I can get some work done, but I'm going to start over on the far side over here. Now we do have a tie plant on this side over here, which does cast some shadow, which Amaryllis is a understory plant, I believe, and with our intense sun, they really seemed to thrive right here. And so I want to keep this as localized as possible. Right now we have all sun because it's December 14th, 15th, I think it's the 15th. And sun's low and the tree above us has lost most of its leaves, the sycamore tree. So anyway, I'm going to start, I'm going to start at the far end because I don't want to work across myself. I'm going to start somewhere right about here and dig a nice, I'm loosening up the soil nice and low. And I'm going to put one of the smaller ones over here. Now these things are a little bit floppy because we're getting down to the end of the season. And so I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So I'm going to let it flop over toward the sun. And I'm going to leave it whole with the branches, with the leaves, branches. So I'm going to put that right about there. Can we see it? Okay, good deal. And I'm going to put another one right here, and I'm just staggering these a little bit. I am going to save the other smallest one for the other end over here in the hopes of getting, okay, so there's some roots. That may be from our sycamore tree. Let me get my trimmers here and just cut that off. Do a little root pruning here. I'm pretty sure that's the sycamore tree that we're sitting underneath. It does have a tendency to grow roots like that. And I have a feeling it probably loves this rich soil that we're under. If you can hear the booms in the background, those are bombs being dropped at the base across the bay. I don't know if that'll come across on the camera or not. But yeah, so now one thing I will be doing on these is I will be putting some additional fertilizer in here. I will probably use some tomato tone, which happens to be what I have, and it's a pretty good organic balanced fertilizer. Will help the flowering happen. You can see talks on fertilizing in other videos, but I'm doing a pretty big hole here for this middle one. And I'm hoping, again, this is me experimenting, folks. I'm hoping that this will get bigger and flower again. Now, I've heard told that these things can bloom for up to like decades, like 70 years if they're properly taken care of. I don't know if I can accomplish that. That would be exciting. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna put the tag back here with the big one here in the middle. Leave that. Let's come over this way a little bit. So we have these two smaller ones. This one here came from the right side of this larger bulb, so I'm going to keep it kind of in the same proximity and let that have that point. And I'm still pulling up little weed trees everywhere. And then the last one is going to go right here. And we'll see what happens with these. I'm kind of anxious to see where these do go. And I think it's interesting. This has a flat side right here. You can see there it's kind of flat. And I bet you that bulb's out now that it'll have room to do so. But I don't expect much. It is middle of December, of course. Don't expect much to happen for another month or two. We may or may not have cold weather. We do have 2 weeks of decently warm weather coming, so we'll be in the 60s. So I have a feeling these things will be doing pretty good. So kind of spread them out a little bit. So the hope is that these do better this next year, that they're spread out. They create a little field of amaryllis right in this area. Eventually, maybe we'll have a larger chunk of this. Now, I'm only doing this with one because I don't want to mess everything else up. And I am doing it with one because maybe this is the right thing to do, and just leaving them over here is not the right thing to do. Let me go here and show you this other Amaryllis. This one actually has more bulbs coming out. There's the main one. It's not quite as big, almost, but not quite as big as the one we just planted. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There might be 10 or 12 additional bulbs around this one. And if this experiment over here is successful, we may end up doing the same thing with this Amaryllis in the future. So yeah, there we go. Breaking apart some Amaryllis from a, see, I was over there doing the rain lilies, and the bulbs kind of broke apart on their own. So I just took the hint and translated that over to here, did a little research on online, and decided to put a plan together. And now we'll see, because this video is published on YouTube, we'll be able to look back on this when I look at results, and those results will come in the spring when we are seeing this thing blooming or not blooming. See how strong it goes, see if it takes off, see if it comes back, see if it blooms. Now I can't say we didn't get any blooms. We did get some blooms for it here in 2023. But I think it was reduced blooms because of the freeze back in Christmas of 2022. And so I think that may have affected the production of these things. It was a very, very, very hard freeze. So in fact, I have an Amaryllis over there in the asparagus patch that didn't bloom at all. It didn't put up a single scape for flowers on it at all. So anyway, Amaryllis, my own personal experiment, which this is just me learning, and you're welcome to come along. Boy, that sun is bright right behind the camera. But we got some high wispy clouds. It's a little cool. We have about 2 weeks of decent weather, no freeze coming, so that's going to be kind of nice. So I'll get a lot done, hopefully. If you don't want to miss any of it, please do subscribe. I know a lot of you have already subscribed, and I so appreciate that. For those of you who have subscribed, another very important thing is that you share these videos on your social media with your friends who are also gardeners. If you get anything out of this, maybe it's just, I always say if it's educational, informational, inspirational, or just entertaining, you notice half of those things aren't really for information. I watch these videos on YouTube just to get inspiration and go do something. And frankly, I'm out here cleaning up these beds because there was a couple of videos that inspired me to get moving and take a day off and try to get some of this cleanup done. I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of cleanup here in the next day or two. We got a lot to do. So anyway, thank you for those who have subscribed and have shared these videos with friends. If you comment below, if you click the thumbs up on these, it shows YouTube and the algorithms that this video is something worth watching. Again, whether it's for information or just inspiration, either way. Appreciate having you here. And yeah, so that's I'm gonna end there. The sun's getting really bright now because I lost my wispy cloud that I started with. And like I always say, y'all have a blessed day.